Since the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war, gun stores and gun safety educators across the country say they are seeing a spike in American Jews buying guns, many for the first time, and they are seeking firearm training. The trend coming as the Anti-Defamation League reports more than 2,000 anti-Semitic incidents have happened in the U.S. since Hamas's attack on Israel on October the 7th. Robert Garson is with us. He is the president of the American Association of Jewish Lawyers. And I understand you are also taking gun training to feel more safe. Thank you for being with us. Let's talk about that in a moment. But first, I wanted to begin with just your personal experience since October the 7th and the level of concern for your own safety after Hamas attacked.
The level of safety that I've had, and might I say good morning to you, has been immeasurable. To be fair to myself, I've not really slept since October the 7th, since that morning, when in fact I was just before on my way to synagogue, somebody grabbed my shoulder and told me what had happened. I felt sick to my hind teeth. I've been worried for myself, my family, and my community. And as you can hear, I'm not originally American. I'm from Britain. And I'm not somebody that has been born into a gun culture, and certainly am somebody that's not given to hysteria. The community is worried. All over the country, they're worried. Not just from the possibilities of single-celled operatives that are out there because of the potentiality arising out of porous borders, but the marauding mobs that have been in the streets of New York, in LA. You know, I myself am a COVID refugee down to Florida, and in certain regards feel very, very lucky that I'm in a state where there is a governor who is doing everything that he can do to protect Jews. But I also feel worried for the wider Jewish community at large, and also Americans at large, because Jews, we're the canaries. We're the people that are targeted first. And these people who are pretending or masquerading as protesters really are not that. They are people who, as you can hear, the venom in their voices, the vitriol in their voices, and the chants, the anti-Semitic chants that are baying for Jewish blood. And I never thought in my entire life or career that I would hear this on the streets of America.
And I suspect it was a very difficult decision coming to the point where you felt as though you had to personally arm yourself. What was your thought process in taking that step?
My thought process was actually a year prior. And the bizarre thing is that I've not become a leader within my small synagogue on that. The thought process was this. I have children. I've got 3 daughters. And my daughters, I can't leave their safety in the hands of somebody else. You have to understand, Jews, for the past God knows how many years, have been going to synagogues where there are armed guards. No other people, realistically, no other religion, no other people who indulge in poetry readings, for example, have to go to their places of worship or community where there are armed guards. And the Jewish communities pay millions of dollars per year for that privilege to go and pray, which is enshrined within the Constitution. Rabbi Steinmetz from New York calls it an anti-Semitism tax, and he is right. I felt that I could not leave the safety of my children and my community in anybody else's hands. But I did it in a responsible way, obviously. I went and took my training. I got my concealed carry license. But one thing I've seen since October the 7th, Florida's ranges are full. One can go actually on a Friday afternoon just before the Sabbath, and I see Orthodox women, rather than baking challah, the braided Jewish bread, they're on the range, pounding rounds down the range, because they themselves are worried about the safety of their families. I had to take 2 days off work this week to go and do 1 day handgun, 1 day rifle, because even with the training that I've got, we saw those UNLV police officers. We're not that. We don't wish to be that. You saw the level of training that they had to go and clear an active shooter out. But being prepared on the day is essential so that we can exercise our rights just to exist. That's all we're asking for, but yet we have to spend thousands of dollars in order to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities at large, in conjunction with the police, who I might say do sterling and wonderful work across this nation.
It is disheartening that you are in this position and so many others are across the United States. We'll end with this. What we're seeing on college campuses, you mentioned you're a father. How much do you believe the testimony on Capitol Hill from some of the Ivy League universities and the protests that we've seen on this campus fueling the hate that you and so many are experiencing?
Well, I wrote to Claudine Gay. I've offered her a public debate. She's obviously not got back to me. There has been, over the last 30 years, anti-Americanism that's been taught on campuses. We've warned that there's been this glacial growth of anti-Semitism on campuses. Of course, I'm worried. I've got a 15-year-old daughter who's looking where to apply. Why should she go to a place where people aren't looking to indulge in academic debate? They're not looking to air these views. They're looking to rant. They're looking to spew vitriol. They're looking to assault Jewish children on campuses. I have parents from New York on a daily basis calling me saying, what are the Florida universities like? Governor Santis, he banned Students for Justice in Palestine on campuses in Florida because of their links to terrorism and because of the vitriol and the hatred that they spew. All Jewish children want to do, all Jewish youths want to do, is to go to campus, go to universities and feel safe. And I've got daughters in particular. I'm very worried.
Yeah, feel safe and protected. Robert Garson, the president of the American Association of Jewish Lawyers, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Over 7